Hey y'all, I was gonna do a YouTube live, but that's not working and I'm driving. So this week, today is March the 12th, 2026. And today I'm very emotional because I feel like this week I have got a lot of convictions, a lot of beating spiritually because for years, I have always been a person to ignore facts. For years, I have ignored my intuition, my discernment. For years, I've given people more grace than what they deserve and what they show me that they don't they don't deserve. For years, I've been ignoring God and the messages and the signs that He has given me. And this week, I would say today, particularly, is emotional for me because it's like, all right, now I got to confess out my mouth what's going on and what's bothering me. So, I am drowning. I'm a mom of three, and it's tax season. I tried, to hire people, and I got 6 laid up on my belt. But as contractors, they work what they want to. They, honestly, since it's my first time doing it, I did not really fine tooth the contract like I needed to basically let them know, like, hey, you're required to get this amount of customers or you're out of the contract. I didn't fine tooth it like, hey, you got to service this amount of people or you're going to have to pay the company XYZ. I didn't do none of that. But this is my second year trying to do it, but my first year actually having people in places and seats and stuff like that. So neither here nor there. Mentally, I was like, you know what? I don't want to do this next year. I don't want to, because my goal was to grow the brand, not myself. I don't really have a desire to necessarily become a millionaire. If God bless me to do that, then I want to do it the right way, and make sure that it's approved by Him first and foremost. But God has been tumbling me this week, and it's like, okay, Ashley, you need to face the truth. You need to face the phone. You got to be truthful with yourself. And you can't keep it real with me if you ain't first truthful with yourself with the things I'm trying to tell you and the things I'm showing you. So the things that God has shown me is that some people that's attached to me are not necessarily in alignment with me. He placed them in my life to be a blessing to me. He placed them in my life as a stepping stool to get me to my next level, but they're not necessarily going to be a permanent placement, and that's okay. And He was like, you drowning because you have an obligation to some people that I put in your life. You have an obligation now because they came in a time in your life where you needed them, and I placed them there to help you in your time of need. That was my blessing from God, that He put those people in my life to help me get to where I need to be. But now He's letting me know, okay, Ash, this is a lesson. Although, in this, like I said, I'm gonna get there. So the lesson for me is basically, don't put anything above God Himself. Don't put anything, any situation, nothing above God Himself. He will bless us and put people and things aligned in our lives to help us be a stepping stool, to be a temporary placement. Although I can't say anyone that He's placed in my life has done anything wrong with me. That's not what this is. However, what it is for me to see the truth through it all. So I'm thankful that God put good people in my life to help me in a time that I desperately needed it. Help my kids spread love, be family-like, and be genuine about it. But then it got to the point where I want to give them back the same. And what God has shown me is like, hey girl, you're doing too much. Your energy is your energy, your love, and your spirit is far greater than what they can perceive. It's far greater than what they're willing to give you. And I find myself being more of a cheerleader for other people than they are with me. And that could be a good thing and a bad thing. And I just feel like, okay, if we have these business conversations, if we're talking about this teamwork stuff, team this, team that, oh yeah, Ashley, we can do this, we can do that. Ashley's willing to go all in because Ashley's been praying for this. Ashley's been wanting this. But then Ashley was ignoring the fact that Ashley's the one doing all the work. Ashley is the one that's using her name, her brand, her reputation to bring along everyone else. And no one has made any sacrificial changes in their life to be a part of a team that they and Ashley created. And I was like, you right. I had a customer come in this week, and she's from Atlanta, Georgia. So she drives 2 hours just to come see me and service me. Allow me to service her every year because she'll taxes and talk and fellowship and stuff. Immediately when she walked in my door, I said, what's wrong? She said, I'm a mess. My number's a mess. Everything's a mess. I said, and I tell people, when you come to me, you're never in a mess. You're never in something that I can't clean up or fix for you on the accounting part. But it was much deeper, and I knew something wasn't right with her spirit. I was like, you know what? Let me shut this laptop down, and that's what I did. And I said, look, I'm not your accountant right now. I'm not your financial advisor right now. Talk to me. What is weighing on you? And what was weighing on this young lady was family leaning on her so much that they are so dependent upon her to do things like caregiving things, and they're not trying to, one, give her a break, to realize the stress that is bringing on to her, to even care about the weight they're putting on her. And to kind of fast forward this, I just told her, I said, no ma'am, there's programs out there, there's resources out there that can help. And I'm not saying, because y'all know I took care of my grandmama, I take care of my mama. My grandma baby before she passed, and that's why when she passed away, my uncles and aunties, mind you, my grandma had 10 kids. My uncles, and only 5 were living when she died. My uncles and auntie was like, look, you took care of her. You made sure she was good. You was there. You was her baby. And although you are our niece, you are more like our sister as well. So you choose a casket, you dress her up, you lay her to rest how you want her to be laid to rest. I said, okay. And that's what happened. I was angry at that time because I'm just like, some people were like all falling out, ball out, crying and stuff like that. And it pissed me off because I'm like, y'all had plenty of opportunities to go see her in the nursing home. You had plenty of opportunities to come to the house before she had to be put in the nursing home, and you didn't take that. But now that she's gone and you can't have that feeling anymore, and now you want to, oh God, you know, I can't stand that. Because if you was there, if you appreciated, if you witnessed the lessons that she taught while she was living, you won't have to do all of that. And y'all, excuse my face, I know y'all see me with makeup on, but you know what, I'm trying to get more to myself and have my natural beauty, because this month's probably for makeup. I love my foundation, but right now I just want to try to get a little bit healthier or whatever. But anyway, back to what emotionally hurts me is that, okay, Ashley, you talk about all these conversations about growing in business and all this stuff about having something long term to help you and the family and the kids and all this stuff. But where is the sacrifice? Where is the teamwork? Because now it's people coming to you with ideas, but no one is putting together a plan. No one is acting on the plan. And if they do put the plan together, they're not acting on it because they know how you work, they know how you think, and they gonna be like, well, I'm gonna just throw it there, then she just gonna do it. But they are looking past the stress, the frustration, and how you are feeling emotionally. You're emotionally drowning, you're emotionally struggling, you're sacrificing so much. And my first two kids, y'all, I messed up. Okay, I had my oldest son at 17, my daughter, I was 21. And I say I messed up because I was so gun-ho on making money, and to the point I worked 2 jobs and I was always gone. And so they couldn't really always have that genuine time with their mama because mom was always working, you know. So and then we talk about it and apologize, and I explained to them, you know, everything. I was like, you know, I'm trying to do better now, but here I am working 10-hour days in my office from 9 to 7, Monday to Friday. And then on Saturday, I'm in the office from maybe 9 to 4, 9 to 5. And sometimes my kids come to the office with me because they want to. I don't make them do that. They're very dependent. I teach them to be dependent and take care of themselves. But my baby boy got a car this morning. He was like, Mama, I was like, hey baby, I want you to have a good day. Mommy will either come home early or pick you up, bring you to the office. He said, Mama, you work late every day. I said, I know baby, but right now there's nobody else taking care of you but me. Right now I'm all y'all got. You know, I can't make y'all daddies do nothing. Like that's out of my hands. I just got to do what I'm supposed to do because the Lord blessed my womb to even become your mother. So it did take me aback because there's so much that needs to be done. So then I was dropped them off at school, went to Walmart, and I got a call from some bill collector and talking about this is our final attempt to reach you for a breach of contract or something. And I'm just like, I ain't never seen this company name before, and I haven't. But those are scare tactics that a lot of collection and business owners use to try to get you to do stuff. And you know what? I was just like, Lord, I'm tired. I just felt this like I'm tired. I'm draining. I'm soaking. So having that moment, and also earlier this week I talked to a realtor because I seen something going around on social media like, hey, $20,000 grant for first-time home buyers. So I was like, okay, give me the information about this. Like, I know there's some stuff on my bill stuff that I need to work on. I just been lazy and haven't done it, but that's not okay. That's highly irresponsible. You know, when I can do it, I don't care if it's $5, send something. So she said, what's your credit score? I said, it ain't good, but I ain't want to be studying there. I be trying to be in the moment, and that's not okay because that is a contributing factor to opening a lot of doors and stuff to people. And I help people with their credit. It's no excuse. And she was like, well, you pay this person to do that. I was like, well, I can do it myself. I got the knowledge. It's just being humanly lazy. So that was another conviction, you know, because I know better. I just didn't do better. So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna work on some things. I actually paid some stuff off that day. And then I was like, the message that company left me, I was like, you know what? And it was clear that nothing is bigger than me. Nothing is bigger than me. And that was today in Walmart. Then earlier this week, I had co-signed for a car for a friend, one of my best friends. She lost her eyesight 2019. 2023, she had a brain aneurysm. She eventually lost the car due to a car accident. She wasn't driving. Somebody else was driving. But even still, like, we communicated about what was going on medically. We did our best to try to keep up the car notes. Well, she, let them know what was going on. And we did have gap insurance. So I had got the car thing off my thing. So then it came back on. I'm like, what the hell? And excuse my language, I'm a work in progress, you know, God working with me. So I said, this ain't nothing but the devil, and I need to stop giving the devil credit, because sometimes it's not the devil, you know, it's just something that we've been culturally trained to say when stuff don't go our way, or, you know, stuff is like, ugh. So I said, I called her up. I said, look, I'm gonna send you $20. I need you to go get your medical records from that time period. I said, what day you off? She said, I'm off Wednesday. I said, okay, go Wednesday, go get your medical records. I'm gonna write them a letter and ask them to forgive this debt, because it's not fair to me that I did something to help you and then yet I'm still paying for it. It's not fair, and something like this is going to be an issue with me moving forward or whatever. So she said she was going to do that. I doubt she done it, because I talked to her today. I'm actually waiting on her today. She ain't said nothing about it. And even when all of that happened, the accident, I'm doing all the paperwork, I'm doing the calling, I'm communicating, getting this, getting that, and I'm just like, dude, I didn't even drive the car, I did something to help you. And that's another thing, we can't help everybody. And I learned my lesson. I would never co-sign for another car for another girlfriend at all. Unless it's my husband. Nope. So yeah, God was telling me nothing is bigger than me. So I said, okay, nothing's bigger than you. Nothing's bigger than you. All right. And I started to cry in the store. I was like, okay. I'm starting to cry now, because it's just like, okay, I'm drowning. I'm trying my best. I'm working. I'm praying. I'm covering my house. I'm covering my office. I'm trying to cover my kids. And I just want to serve the Lord and do right by God. That's all I want to do. Because I have seen so much with last year alone that God is real and that witchcraft is real. And people actually out here practicing this stuff and trying to put stuff on you. And it blew my mind, because when I was younger, I used to watch a lot of horror films. I used to watch, you know, it was pure entertainment then. And so now I still watch a little bit, but I kind of be a little discerned about what the context is and what's in it, because now that I've seen it in person, and when I say, honey, I never asked for God to forgive me, I repent to save my soul in my life, I had to do that because of the spiritual warfare that was after me. It was I had spiritual warfare, and now I understand more and more the things that my grandmother and my mother tried to teach me. I understand and appreciate more and more of some of the stuff that I watched on television. And the reality of it is, a lot of stuff that's on television, they couldn't write the story if it wasn't a real event. Even the movie Deliverance, that was based off a true story. And I remember reading some of the reviews and, you know, some of the comments from the cast, like they actually had a priest and a pastor praying over the scene just to reenact it, because you got to be careful when you do stuff like that. So sometimes reenacting can reinvite those spirits in and actually affect you. So that's a real thing. I'm learning more and more about God. And then I've been learning more and more about idols. When God said, don't put no God before me, those things happen because there were other gods. We all say it's only one God. Yes, it's very well only one true God. But God warned us about these other people or other things that portray themselves as gods. They actually existed. At one point in time, they actually existed. It's no difference in having kings and queens, and, you know, we got the president, you know, united we stand under God. God first. So now it's like, oh, God said, don't put nothing before me. I said, okay. I'm also in the process of trying to figure stuff out. I do need to go back to school. I do need to finish my degree up and just put that behind me. I owe my school a few $1,000s, but I was like, I ain't gonna say a few $1,000s. I owe my school almost $20,000 that I can't say I could just push out the pocket. Like, mind you, I'm a single parent, I'm a mom. So, and I was like, okay, well, I have a client that's also struggling with finances for school. I was like, why not try to fundraise for both of us or whatever? Because I advocate for education, I advocate for mental health. At the end of the day, everybody needs some help or whatever. And she was like, well, I don't really want my name out there. That's fine. You know what I mean? People gonna help. But God told me this morning, don't put nothing above me. So God said, every bill collector that calls you from now on, you listen to them, you take the information, say, hey, I apologize, send me what you have and I'll let you know what I can do. Stop running away from it, because put nothing before me. I don't care if I gotta write letters asking them for forgiveness. I don't care if I could send them $1, $5, $2, $3 checks. At least I'm trying. And being a finance, being, who I am, there's a lot of stuff that could be done to eliminate a lot of debt, but we gotta practice it. And I have to be truthful, because my intentions was never to take from anybody. My intentions were never to steal from anybody. My intention was to never manipulate anybody. And when it comes to the things that we owe, debt, credit cards, that's technically the same thing if you think about it. You borrowed some money with a promise to pay it back and you did not do it. So I need to ask for forgiveness. And I ask God, I repent for anything that I have not addressed. I repent for this, dishonoring, if I have dishonored you in any way, if I had displeased you or disappointed you in any way. God, I repent. I'm sorry. I just want to do right. I want to be a perfect example for my kids. So from this day forth, I said, okay, God, you said nothing is greater than you. And you're right. Nothing is greater than you. I'm going to bust my butt. I'm going to work. I'm going to fight for what is right. So also, when God told me that nothing is greater than him, he also showed me, I'm going to make you an example that you can be debt-free and make better decisions financially. But you first got to take accountability. You first got to admit. Because, like I said, we get into a lot of these entrapments and signing agreements, but we don't ever really coast and think about the reality of it, of like, can I really do this? Can I really honor this agreement? Can I really bind this contract? So in the same way that we treat creditors or debtors, it's the same way some people are in our relationships. It's the same way that people portray themselves. And I'm just like, oh, that hurt. But getting closer to God is going to hurt. It's going to be some trial and error. It's going to be some tests. It's gonna be something. Okay? So you got to be real with yourself, even when it hurts, and even with reality, because people are going to pitch you a lot of things, and you got to actually start paying attention and say who's going to be true to what they say, who's going to actually do what they say, who's going to actually hold you down and hold your back. Because sometimes, wow, especially me being an entrepreneur, chasing the dream, man, that's hard. I got sleepless nights. Sometimes I don't even sleep right. Sometimes I don't. I still be thinking while I'm in the bed, trying to go to sleep. I'm still mentally thinking. I'm still working. I'm still trying to figure out. I'm still trying to strategize. And it's easier said than done. But I know I put my trust in God. And I know, hey, God, hey, I need some help. Jesus, let me rest. Block the noise. I don't care if I gotta listen to gospel music. I don't care if I gotta listen to rain sounds. Sometimes I used to listen to baby lullabies. Help me. This is part 1 of the message. I gotta go real quick, but I will be back.